Good morning, YouTube. It is your friendly neighborhood YouTuber Type.before here, and today, after seeing the amount of love that y'all gave to my Deku versus Miles is not close video, I decided why not search through all the comments, all the hot takes that many people had to say, and just make them into a video. After all, y'all had so much to say, I feel like it would be wrong if I didn't cover it. So today is going to be a little bit more chill video where I just go over y'all comments and give my little takes here and there of what I think between the death battle between Miles and Deku. Kane Dane 2179 says, unless Miles is scaled to the multiversal bullshit, the Marvel Comics special, Spider-Man by definition is street tier or at least doesn't deal with universal threats and bullshit. Now, I don't really know how this leads to him losing against Deku because Deku is in multiversal universe, but I could understand why he wouldn't really get the wink that some Marvel characters do have. But I'm not gonna lie, I have seen some crazy feats from Miles, alright? You know, contender with gods, that box with Thor might give him some crazy advantages. We don't know. Death battle, when it comes to death battles, they're pretty 50-50. Some of them are really good with their analysis, like Bowser versus Eggman, where they may not get it 100% of the time, but sometimes they get it wrong. And then sometimes they just get it flat out wrong, like Bardock versus Omni-Man. Like, in what world does Bardock lose? Like, come on now. Bumpy Stumpy 5314 says Deku is a grade A bum. Miles Solo's low diff. Alright, this is kind of crazy because this is just slander, alright? I wanted to see some hot takes, but this is just straight up slander. Damn. Honestly, I'm in for the slander. I don't mind it. At the same time, I don't feel like Deku's a bum. Like, this dude's been working hard. He's been putting in, you know, not that 9 to 5, but quite literally, he's been putting his life on the line consistently for the hero world. He's no longer that crybaby we used to see in season 1. Like, he built different now. The restless fraud himself, Restless Gambler, says Deku literally full counters Miles. I don't know why it's a matchup. Honestly, I slightly agree with him here. Because if we're going based off of their powers alone, right, the amount that Deku has over Miles, it's way more. And Deku's versatility of his powers is much better than Miles' versatility. However, I do feel like that Venom Blast can be a game changer. If you quite literally knock somebody out of their nervous system to where they can't even function and their brain is literally fried, there's literally nothing Deku can do. Sure, he could puppeteer his body, but for him to do that, he needs to have like a functioning brain. That Venom Blast can knock him unconscious, bro. It's too overpowered. So I feel like that could be a big game changer. And all we need to know is how Death Battle is going to scale Miles. Are they going to scale him to like bullet level supersonic, or are they going to give him light speed? We don't know. Rispy6641 says Miles is about to feel the exaggerated swagger of an anime character. Honestly, yeah, that's true. Deku as of lately, his aura has been through the roof, bro. Especially when he went rogue. I'll tell you, bro. That was when I tuned into MHA the most. I kind of stopped after season 3 because I'm not gonna hold you. Season 3 was kind of mid, but oh my god. Ooh, he's getting it back now, especially in this war arc with Shigaraki. Mwah. Now we're gonna move on to some of the Discord hot takes, which y'all should totally join the Discord server. We're trying to build a community now. But I basically said the same announcement, and feel the truth. He says Miles solos. Now, this is definitely a hot take. I wish you could have provided a little bit more because you're saying Miles solos. I don't know what to bring to that. You feel me? But Six, who's a My Hero fan, says that Deku solos. There's no version of Miles that can beat Deku. Now,
you don't know basketball. You just got caught. It's official.
I don't know about no version because I don't think the MHA verse can handle Storm. And the fact that like Miles at least was like fast enough to react and dodge Storm's lightning, even with Spidey sense, that's a crazy feat in and of itself. So I don't know. Like, if we highball in Miles, I don't know if the Deku can handle that. That's all I'm gonna say. Ooh, it looks like we got a big hot take from DH Worldwide 185. says, Death Battle always uses these characters at their best, no outliers or any feats. Miles can reach those multi-continental from being above the Silver Centurion, which destroyed a piece of rock the size of Manhattan. He should also have the speed advantage with Spidey Sense. It's overall better as if it can perceive threats far in advance, tell him where to dodge and what attacks from Deku are the most dangerous. Venom Blast also takes care of Deku's motor functions. Doesn't matter if he can puppeteer his body if his mind's fried, which I said before. Vibranium Weave also prevents it from getting one shot. Okay. I mean, I kinda agree with some points because, like, let's be honest, alright? Venom Blast is overpowered as shit. I don't even know why they gave him that in the Marvel comics to begin with. But I don't know about that speed advantage, alright? Because him dodging Storm's lightning was literally one time. If we consistently had villains that put him on that scale, I mean, to be fair, he did fight No, right? So I guess technically he does have, you know, very fast reaction speed. But if we're talking like combat speed or movement speed, Deku has that way more than not. I don't know how Spidey Sense is gonna help him when Deku's just throwing 17 different quirks at his face. Like, his Spidey Sense is gonna ache his head, you know? But overall, I kind of do agree with you somewhat. But I don't know, because, like, to be fair, they did make Batman lose to Black Panther. And if we're using Batman at a highball, he beats damn near almost every character in fiction. But because, you know, he's Batman after all, he's still a human being, they made him lose to Black Panther, because Black Panther compared to regular people, bro, he was dead, bro. Random guy, I don't know if that's your name, 2530 says, bro, we don't even have the third movie. I wish Death Battles would wait, because this is obviously biased Deku stomps, unless they give him feats comparative to other Spider-Man / Spider-Woman near his age and haven't experienced all their canon attacks events, I guess. But that wouldn't really amount to much. This just feels very biased. Now, I kinda agree with you, right? Because, I mean, to be fair, Death Battle, they can't really not do Death Battles, right? They have to make money somewhat, and so they probably like funded the animation for this Death Battle when Spider-Verse came out, right? So it's probably been like a year in production, and they just got to keep moving forward with the time. So it's very unfortunate, right, where we can't really scale Miles at his best, but that's just how time flows, right? You know, some things don't age as well. We've seen this with countless different Death Battles, and Miles versus Deku might not be the same exception, because just like how Miles is not going to get whatever the next Spider-Verse movie scaling, he's also not going to get the Gods movie scaling from his comic book, because the next comic book issue comes out in August and the Death Battle is coming out in like a week or 2 weeks. So we don't even know if he's going to scale to those gods that fought Thor, you know? So we don't know fully if Miles is really in them crazy outer universal ranges. So that's just how things go. I'm sorry to say it, man. All right, there's a bunch more hot takes that I could get into, but there is one thing that I did want to cover, which is the similarities, right? I remember I did say in the video that I didn't really think of too many similarities between Deku versus Miles. So I wanted to bring what some people in the comments of my video said, because they actually brought up a lot of good points that I think I glossed over a little bit. So MUI Gogu Ultrasonic 3947, amazing name. He says, similarities I could think of. Both lost once before on the show, Miles with Static, Deku with Asta. That's a good comparison. Number 2, Danger Sense and Spidey Sense. I did say that. Black Whip and Web Swinging. I did say that. Successor, kinda, of another massive hero, Peter Parker and All Might. That's true. I did say that as well. 5, quirky nerd kid type heroes. You know, that's true. I honestly kind of glossed over that. 6, tank and survive multiple hits from super villains / allies. You could pretty much say that about any hero. And 7, never gives up. Okay, decent points. Oh, someone else in the comments, Useless God 4934, he says, both have standard superhuman strength, agility. Miles can stick on walls, Deku can float. They both have the same exact powers as the predecessor, but attain more later on. Deku has smoke screen and Miles can go invisible. Both have full cowling in order to reach 100%. I know I'm stretching for some of these, but it's fair for people to say that they don't have anything in common. Yeah, now that y'all bring up some good points, I kind of understand now. It's more or less the successor thing. I was thinking more broadly, right? Because like Miles got his power from a spider from a different dimension, while Deku just ate hair, you know. But now that I think about it more and more, these guys deserve the death battle way more than Deku versus Asta. Like, wait, okay, now Static Shock and Miles was kind of similar, but Deku versus Asta, like, this should have been first before that. Now, I know I already provided my thoughts in the Deku versus Miles video, is it close? But I just want to reiterate for the people who haven't seen that video, what I basically said is that I feel if they're going with consistency, right? Like how consistent they are in the comics, Deku takes this quite literally easily, because we've seen him just using like 40% or something evaporate like multiple cities, countries, like islands. Like it's insane the destructive power that Deku just has casually, like actually just casually, like no power up, nothing. But I feel like Miles in certain circumstances and certain scaling could actually get the dub, and that's at high ends, right? Like, you know, scale him to Storm, right, when he's dodging her lightning, scale him to one of the ancient gods that he fought, and that same god did fight Thor, so you could technically get Miles into the Thor level scaling. And to be fair, that isn't totally wrong, because we've seen Spider-Man fight with Thor and Hulk, but you understand what I'm saying, right? There's certain parts in certain comic book issues where I feel like Miles could get the dub. But if they're going with consistency and what they regularly output in media, I feel like Deku takes that. I feel like that's a fair take. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. If this video gets enough love, I'll make sure to do it again. But y'all already know what to do. If y'all enjoy this type of content, please make sure to knife that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Comment for the algorithm. Join the membership today for emotes and such free videos early. Y'all already know. I typed that in before, and I'll see you all next time.